mean
Okay.
post-release.
Jose, is that?
Well, there's a pre-release center in Robertville,
Oh,
so, but once they come out of incarceration, it's considered post-release.
yeah, okay. See, you're going to tell us all about that. I don't know. This gentleman, though, he really. Good evening, good evening. Hi, this is Bishop Jackson here again with Altar Talk here on every Tuesday evening at 6 to 6:30. Sorry. I am excited to be here tonight. I have a very special guest and friend. I think I can call you a friend now, right? A very special guest and friend, and she's coming to speak with you a little bit about her experiences and what she is doing here locally. So I'm honored to introduce to our audience Miss Donna Rohas. Donna,
Hello.
welcome.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Welcome to Altar Talk, right? So this is a place where we come and we talk about a myriad of different topics. Today it's all about you. It's all about you. So just take a second, if you would, and just introduce yourself. I'm going to let you introduce yourself, all right, to our audience. So, audience, this is Donna. Donna, this is audience.
Hello, audience. I'm Donna Rohas, as Bishop mentioned. I've been in Montgomery County for over 30 years. My roots are New York and the Virgin Islands, but I've been here longer than anywhere else. And I really enjoy the county. I enjoy Maryland. I love what I do. I love what I do with the church. I love what I do from a professional perspective, which is why I'm here tonight, to talk a little bit about the work that I do. I've been doing this work for over almost 13 years now.
Wow.
And I'm excited that the work continues. It's allowed me to even start my own business in this area, in this field, so I'm excited.
Wow, wow, wow. That's a long time. Now you talked a lot about the work. Let's dig in a little bit and see what you do, because, you know, when I first heard this, I'm like, wow, you do all that? So I want to share that with our audience. So what do you do exactly?
So the work that I do is I assist individuals who are returning from incarceration to reintegrate back into society. I started off at the Montgomery County Correctional Facility in Clarksburg, working in the one-stop center where we assisted individuals with job-ready, life-ready skills, and we helped them to put it all together so that they can come home better than when they went back in.
Oh, my goodness. Yes. Well, you know, recidivism is what it is, and for the longest of times, it's been so pervasive, and we were scratching our heads and trying to figure out what to do and how to slow the trend of recidivism, and it sounds like you tapped into something, right?
So we've tapped into it by understanding the dynamics. The Bureau of Justice Statistics says that 98% of individuals who are incarcerated are coming back home to our communities. The key is, how do we want them to come back home, right? We don't want them to re-enter society the way that they went to the institution. Instead, we want them to be better. We want them to be better fathers, better mothers, and we want them to be tax-paying citizens in our community.
Wow, absolutely. We want them to be, productive citizens as well. And so, how do you do that? How, I'm sure it has a mental thing involved here with wellness that in that regard, and actually probably has a spiritual component too, because a lot of these folks are believers. They just fell into the wrong situation. So how do you navigate that? How do you actually find out what the need is and try to meet the need?
Well, one of the things that I think we need to understand as a community, because we're so quick to judge, right? We're so quick
yes.
to say, oh, you did that wrong thing and you need to be locked up and you need to stay there. But nobody taps into something I like to look at as to individuals are always asked in the institution, why are you here? Why are you here?
Right.
What did you do? Why are you here? But nobody asks, how did you get here?
Oh.
Because if we ask the question, how did you get here? You kind of understand, it starts to, pull back the layers.
Right.
Because some individuals that are incarcerated, I'm not denying crime, I'm not saying that crime is okay, but as you peel back the layers, you start to see that there's trauma. There's drama. There's things that have happened in someone's childhood.
Right.
So it's not until you get to the correctional institution that those things are starting to be looked at. Like, for example, adverse childhood effects. No one looks at a child to see, looks at an adult to see what may have happened in their childhood. And
Okay.
trauma that went unaddressed.
Wow. So you're unpacking all of that, and how you got here is really, most of them probably don't really stop and think about how they got there, right? They know why they're here. They broke the law, right?
Right.
But how you got here, you guys are going deeper. You're going under the surface and find out the root cause of their incarceration, and you're addressing it at that level.
Yes, it has to be addressed at that level, because I think we're starting to see that when it's addressed at that level, and I'll just give you an example. I know of an individual that became incarcerated that I grew up with in the Virgin Islands. And we grew up, we had the same parent structure, we came from great homes, great mom, great dad, all the things. And he ended up getting incarcerated in Virginia and ended up with 99 years.
Oh.
So, he's trying to have his sentence commuted right now, but I said to him in the process as we were getting ready to write, as I was getting ready to write a character letter for him, I asked him, I said, well, what happened? We grew up alike. We grew up in the same neighborhood. We grew up with the same great parents. We grew up with great grandparents. And he said to me, he said, I couldn't read, but nobody knew. So anytime they wanted to call on me, I would get in trouble so that the teacher had to put me out of class. And he ended up, that cycle continued through his senior year. Now, don't ask me how he graduated, but he was able to get out of high school, but he was illiterate.
Wow.
But he knew how to count money.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
So his selling drugs and guns ended up being his way of life, made lots of money.
Wow.
But it wasn't until he became incarcerated is when he needed to read a letter from someone at home, and he turned to his cellie and he said, he turned to his cellmate and said, can you read this letter for me? And his cellmate said, you can't read? And he said, no. So he read the letter, but guess what the first book he read in prison was?
What?
The Bible.
Really?
That was the first book he learned to read.
That's phenomenal. So tell me. Yeah, all right. So you've found the root cause. You find the niche what really you needed to find to a way in to get to the heart of the matter.
Mm-hmm.
What about institutionally? What did the penal justice system? How did that react to somebody who wanted to come in and actually help people?
I think what the criminal justice system is starting to see, especially from the incarceral space, is that when you allow an institutionalized individual to get the proper treatment, to get their education, to get the programming that's needed, it decreases violence in their institution. right?
okay.
You know, because then individuals are realizing I can go to a program if I'm not fighting in the unit.
Right.
I can go to a program and learn more, and then when I come back, I'm so busy with the work that I've been given that I don't have time to fight in my unit.
Exactly.
So they noticed, and this is nationwide. They're starting to notice a shift. They're starting to see, and there's some places that still need to do a lot of work, but they're starting to see that programming. I was just on a call yesterday with the Vera Institute, which is one of the social justice, criminal justice leads in the nation, and they were just talking about how they're even changing the look of the cell.
Wow.
Just to make it a little bit more welcoming. Now, trust and believe, I understand. There are people out there that are like,
Wait a minute.
wait a minute, you have an Xbox,
Yeah.
you have cable, you're getting free education, but this is what they were not getting when they were in the community.
Right.
Some of these people never even thought about college until they
They
got to
into
the
incarcerated.
institution.
Yeah, and then by that time, it's either it's too late or they're incarcerated for a long period of time. And
Sometimes it's not too late though.
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing people that are coming out with their bachelors, their masters,
Wow.
but doing great things, because the more education you have, as you know, the better it is for you in society, right?
Exactly.
So it's not just about, yes, we encourage individuals to get their GED, but if there's a program that will allow you, like Goucher College is in our state system.
Right.
Montgomery College is in our local county system. If you're allowing people to get that education, they're going to do so much better.
Yeah, when they get
Statistics
out.
show that they're going to do so much better.
Because they get a better job, they get a better start, you know. Now the education system in and through your organization or organizations such as yours, how is that funded? Is that funded through the state?
The county funds the Montgomery College piece. The state does fund, and the Pell Grant now has opened up again to the incarcerated individual.
incarcerated
Because at one
individual.
point they were not doing that, but now it's opened back up to the incarcerated individuals, so they're able to tap into those dollars.
So you
But
get-
go ahead. I'm
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the light went off. Now they're getting a return on that investment, because when the person gets out of that system, they don't come back. And
Right.
they become productive
Right.
citizens. Right. I love it. I love it. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, no,
but,
that's okay.
I tell you, I'm so excited about what you're telling me here, because it's such hope for people that we think are in a hopeless situation. They're not really, you guys come in, you turn the light on, and they're allowed to see that, you know, I can leave this situation and go to a better situation for me and for my family. That is incredible work. That's incredible work that you guys do. And so tell me more about this business. Now, you got into it first working for the state, right? Or the county?
The county and then the state.
county and then the state. And then now you're branching off and you're doing your own thing, huh? All right, well, tell me about that. Tell us about that. We want to know about it.
So what I've done is I've created my own business, D. Rohas Consulting. And what I do is I saw the benefit of me doing the work right.
Okay.
And I wanted to make sure that other people do the work right. Because some people get into this work and it's all about the money.
Yeah.
It's not about the people. And to be honest with you, in a social service setting like this one, you don't get paid a lot of dollars, right? The money isn't great, but the return on investment to see when you go into a grocery store and you see someone that you've helped bringing their wife and their children over to meet you, that's the benefit, right?
Yeah.
That's the blessing.
Yeah.
And now I'm trying to help governmental and non-governmental agencies to do it right and to understand. Like, for example, I have a contract with the Prince George's County State's Attorney's Office, and they're a prosecutorial branch, right? They
Right,
prosecute you.
Right.
But the thing about it is Madam State's Attorney Aisha Braveboy had a vision that even though I put you behind the walls, I want to help you come back to this county where you live. So she's created some diversion programs. She's created there's an emerging adults program that I assist with where they're actually doing life skills programming via Zoom to the emerging adults that are there. And then when they come home, there's another branch that is an accountability coaching branch. So she's had a vision for the county, and because they were so much on the prosecution side, they didn't quite understand the incarceral space.
Right.
So I help them from that aspect to understand how to do the work with the individuals and how not to, cross the lines.
Right, because they can't cross the line,
Yes,
right?
yes,
We need them to do what they
Yes,
do,
yes.
right? But you've become like a bridge for
Right.
them to get back and forth across
Right.
to that, to actually, and help or invest in those that are, well, if they're doing pre-incarceration work, they're trying to prevent those people from being in the system.
Especially our young people.
Oh, yeah,
Especially
it's
our
a
young
shame.
people. So I'm happy to see her doing the programs to help our emerging adults, that 18 to 26-year-old population, because they need the hope. They need to know that someone cares. They need to know that we're out here for them.
Exactly,
Right?
exactly.
So there's a lot of, we've had some individuals that graduated from the program that now have their own businesses.
Wow. That is such a turnaround. And, that's what you want. That's that return on investment that you really want to see. And and an organization like yours and a business like yours and others have really given a lot of hope to a lot of people. And I know our audience is saying, well, that's them. But listen, them can be your nephew, your niece, your own children at any moment, right?
You.
It could be you, right? Right, at any moment. So thank God that we have, resources like this. So you service Montgomery County, PG. Do you do any work in Frederick County or Washington
I
County?
haven't tapped into Frederick, but I mean, I'm doing some stuff nationally also. I'm working with an organization to work with private prisons, because we have a number of private prisons throughout the nation that need a lot of help. They're not even tapped as much money as they get, which is like over $200 billion. They still have a ways to go as it relates to reentry.
Yeah.
So I'm doing some work with an organization to help them to start to see. Plus, the Department of Justice is keeping their eyes out on how individuals are being treated behind the walls, because that's a civil rights issue.
Oh yeah, it certainly is. It's always, and some of those issues are legitimate, right? Depending on where you are.
Exactly.
But so that's great work as well, because not to be a watchdog, but you're actually giving them some resources, so that they could better their institutions, and that's good. That is actually a good thing.
You asked about Washington County, and I could put this plug in. Washington County has an amazing program called Gatekeepers. Mr. Bill Gartner, when I worked at the state level, I was able to help them to get their memorandum of understanding. And they are doing phenomenal work with the justice impacted folks, and they're building out their reentry program. It's really good.
Wow.
So Washington County does have
They
a
have
great
something.
program.
Great. So, what is the most rewarding thing about your job? Tell me that.
The most rewarding thing is to see someone that thought they couldn't actually do it, actually do what they thought they couldn't do, actually get their degree, actually come out and work, actually come back and give back to the field of reentry. That to me is so rewarding. And again, when you're in the stores and you see people run up, because I was known as Coach Rohas at the prison. And when you see them yelling from the back of the Safeway, Coach Rohas, and I'm like, okay. And you see them walk up to you and say, this is my wife, this is my husband, these are my children.
Wow, wow. Instantly you see, the conversion, and how it affected. You see the actual effect of your work. That is rewarding, and I get it. As a pastor for a lot of years, I feel the same way when I see, someone actually turn their lives around and really get it, start to get into the groove of life and life more abundantly, like we like to have it, right?
Right.
So, as we're winding down today, I just want to say that your business and the area of ministry, and I'll call it ministry because that's what it is.
Yes.
The area of ministry that you're in is so badly needed, and I want to strongly encourage you to keep on keeping on. Look, we just last week we had a gentleman that was in on the segment on the show last week, and he had been incarcerated through reform school as a child, the state juvenile system, the state penal system, and the federal penal. He went through the whole gauntlet from bottom to top. And he got out, and his story was phenomenal. You have to go back and look at it, but his story was phenomenal. But he got out, and he created an organization called Heads Up, Chest Out.
Okay.
And it's really great. Your story is like it, and it's amazing that God doesn't make any mistakes, right? It's amazing that God has brought you here today to explain your organization and what you do. Before we leave here today, tell me if someone has seen this segment and said, you know what, that's interesting. How do I get a hold of Miss Coach Donna Rohas? How would they be able to get a hold of her?
You definitely can email me at drojas, that's DROJAS, Rojas, at drojasconsulting.com. You can give me a call at 202-643-9404. And I'm always willing to help someone that is either needing help or wants to know how to do the work.
Wow, that is incredible. That's outreach. See, there's another part of your ministry, which is outreach, right? So, guys, we're so out of time, and I tell you what, I could sit here and talk to Coach Rohas all evening long, but I've got to wrap it up. My producers give me the high five, but I got to wrap it up. Thank you guys for coming by. Thank you for being a listening ear. I'm going to charge you that if you have any thought or any inkling of getting involved in reentry from jails and prisons, to get a hold of Coach Rohas or call us here at the station. We're so glad that you came by. Remember, we always meet here at the altar. Thank you for coming.